Girl code. Went to a wedding tonight and got drunk at the reception. Very briefly met the groom's sister in conversation, as my boyfriend knew her. He was invited from the groom's side. Later that evening, she came into the bathroom while I was in there and is visibly sick. And although we don't know each other, she looks at me and says, "Girl, don't leave me alone in here. I don't feel good." Instantly girl code kicks in and I say, "No worries girl, I got you." I give her my hair tie and guard her stall while she's throwing up. Afterwards, I walk back with her to a table and get her water. I sit with her and ask my boyfriend if we can give her a ride home. He says yes and we get her home safely. We all got Taco Bell on the way home together because my BF is the best. She added me on Facebook after we dropped her off and I have a new friend now. Look out for each other girls, you want someone to do it for you, so always be that person when you can. I just found out my husband got another woman pregnant and I'm relieved. I can't even believe I'm typing this out right now, but I just found out my husband got his fling pregnant and there is a big part of me that is glad to hear the news. We have had a problematic relationship for a while, but our problems really started a month ago. I found out that he was talking to a female co-worker and hiding it from me, so when I confronted him, it originally was said to be a little crush that snowballed into us agreeing to take a break because we both needed time. After establishing the break, I then find out that he actually had sex with her, but it was only one time while I was drunk. Fast forward to now, where I find out that it was multiple times. Everyone at his job knows about it and knew about it prior to the first issue, so I've been left looking like a fool. And now she's pregnant with what they think is his child. I've known I wanted a divorce for a while because although I have my issues, his are much worse. And even through the rest of the bullshit I was thinking that we should give it one more try, go to counseling, do whatever we could to save the marriage. But after this, I know that this needs to end now. And although I'm hurt by what he's put me through this month, and quite frankly the majority of our relationship with the borderline verbal abuse, I feel like a giant elephant has stepped off of my shoulders because now I know without a shadow of a doubt that this is going to end. I will be by myself besides our kid, but I will be free and happy. I won't be anxious wondering what the mood is today and what I can say and do. And if me chewing too loudly will send him into a rage, I can breathe, and I would rather be struggling financially but feel at peace than be able to stay home and constantly be anxious. He's always going to be my best friend, and once we get through the divorce I'm excited to get to where we can just be really good friends and co-parents together, but I never want to have to live in the same house as him again. And congratulations to both of them on the new baby. A girl living on the streets offered me sex for money and I accepted. This feels like a new low. I was on an exhausting work trip last week and on top of that got chewed out by my manager at one point, so it was a rough week. That night I was walking back to my janky hotel from a liquor store after picking up cigarettes when I walked by a row of tents. There was a girl hanging out outside who I didn't notice at first, but she followed me and asked me if I had a girlfriend. I said no, but I immediately knew where this was headed. She asked if I had any cash and said maybe we could help each other out, something along those lines. She was in jean shorts and a tank top and tatted up all over her body. She didn't look like a drug addict and actually looked pretty clean. She was cute, Latina, but it obviously felt wrong for a bunch of reasons. Not just hygiene and diseases, but it could have been some sort of scam. The whole situation felt scummy. I told her she was cute, but I had to be up early in the morning. She started talking about her life and her sister, how much she could use the money, and promised she was clean. It all sounded genuine. Against my better judgment, I accepted. I gave her a cig and we walked back to the hotel together. I asked her if we could take the stairs to be discreet in case because other coworkers were staying at the hotel too. She freshened up in the shower and came out in just a towel. We had sex and I have to say it was pretty amazing. At one point she told me she wanted me to FK the shit out of her. It was like a switch went off and I thought since I was paying for this, I'd treat her how I wanted. When I was done, it felt like I got out all my week's frustrations. We went outside and had a cigarette before she left. 2.5 years ago I almost had a threesome with my best friend and my husband. A month later she said she was pregnant. So I know her child is not my husband's 100%. We're all trashed AF and my husband barely knew his left foot from his right. And if the situation was any different, her kid may very well have been his kid. Because I knew for months that she had been off of birth control. She said it was fucking with her hormones and at the time I believed her. I love my best and I still do because I understand why she did what she did. I don't like it but I understand. She was and still is in a not very good relationship, and I think she tried to engineer a situation where my husband would get her pregnant as an excuse to leave her bad relationship. She suggested the threesome, and both me and my husband were keen until I remembered he was not on birth control. Because I knew my husband either did not know or he did not remember given how sloshed he was, so I vetoed the threesome. I said no. I decided to be the bad guy, so my husband was either tricked, accidentally or not, into being another woman's baby daddy, or made out to be the bad guy by the BFF spouse. It was not a fair situation for anybody. I think I saved a girl last night. So I, M33, went out with some co-workers last night. I had quite a bit to drink and was walking home at about 2 a.m. My house is in a quiet part of town, despite being a college town, so my walk is usually simple and quiet. However, as I was walking past the courthouse parking lot, I saw a car with 3 people standing outside of it. It was 2 guys with a much smaller girl in between them. Her arms were crossed and she looked distressed. I kept walking and was going to just phone the police and watch from a distance. However, as I kept walking I saw a 3rd guy standing under a tree and he kept looking around. Like he was keeping watch or something. Some frat guys on a corner house called out to me asking what was up. So I went over and described what was going on. One of the brothers was even talking about bringing his gun with him in case something was up. So these 3 frat guys walk up to the situation, one of them starts walking the girl back after about a minute while the other 2 are talking with the creeps. I thanked the guy walking back and I left to head home. The whole situation just had me on edge and I had to get out. I got home and talked to my wife about the whole thing. Drunk emotions were running high. I was absolutely terrified of shots being fired. In the end, I'm just glad the girl got out of there. I plan on bringing a gift of sorts to the guys that helped. The whole thing just feels so surreal.